For the last 2 years, investors enjoyed a rare period where 5% yields were available on simple, risk-free cash. That era is officially ending. The Federal Reserve has pivoted toward cutting benchmark interest rates to recalibrate the economy. As the Fed lowers its target, commercial banks respond by dropping their own savings rates in tandem, reducing the returns on standard accounts almost immediately. This drop in yield is complicated by the return of inflationary pressure. Proposed trade tariffs would increase the cost of imported goods, a mechanism that typically forces prices higher for consumers and erodes the value of cash. Keeping your money in a traditional checking account at 0.01% interest now guarantees a steady loss of purchasing power. The European Central Bank uses a specific institutional framework to evaluate how money behaves over time. The nominal interest rate is the explicit percentage a bank pays you, like 2.5%. However, inflation acts as a counterforce. Subtracting inflation from the nominal rate calculates your real interest rate. Here, 3% inflation wipes it out, leaving a negative 0.5% return. A safe account that earns less than the rate of inflation is a mathematical illusion. To achieve a positive real return, you have to choose between immediate access to your funds or locking in a fixed rate. Capital liquidity is defined by how quickly you can spend your money. High liquidity means your cash is available for immediate use without delays. High-yield savings accounts and money market accounts are the primary tools for this, currently offering yields around 4%. These accounts generate yield by investing in the short-term capital market. Unlike standard savings, money market accounts can buy commercial paper and Treasury bills. Commercial paper is an unsecured short-term debt instrument issued by corporations to meet immediate liabilities. The primary drawback is that these yields are variable. They lack any protection against the Federal Reserve's next rate cut. These accounts are perfect for emergency funds, but they will not defend your interest rate when the broader market drops. You can shield your yield from those drops by utilizing a rate lock. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, are contractual agreements where you leave your capital untouched for a set timeline. In exchange for this commitment, the bank provides a fixed rate that stays the same for the life of the bond, regardless of what the Federal Reserve does. The trade-off is a total loss of liquidity. Attempting to withdraw your funds before the term matures triggers severe penalties that often exceed the interest you've earned. CDs function as a hedge for targeted savings, but they remove your ability to react to a personal financial emergency. For those seeking maximum security, the U.S. Treasury offers an instrument specifically designed to keep pace with the cost of living. Series I savings bonds provide a direct government guarantee against inflation for long-term holders. These bonds earn a composite rate, which combines a fixed base rate with a variable rate pegged to the Consumer Price Index. The Consumer Price Index tracks the average change over time in the prices paid by consumers for a standard basket of goods and services. However, the Treasury limits these purchases to $10,000 per year for each Social Security number. The liquidity restrictions are the most rigid in this asset class. You are legally prohibited from cashing out the bond for the first 12 months. Furthermore, cashing out between years 1 and 5 results in a penalty of the last 3 months of interest. I-bonds are a mathematical certainty for protecting your purchasing power, but they require you to give up control over your capital for years at a time. Effective cash management requires matching the specific timeline of your capital to the appropriate financial tool. This flowchart asks, when do you actually need this money? For an emergency tomorrow, use a high-yield savings account. For a purchase 1 to 3 years away, lock in a CD. For wealth preservation over 5 years, I-bonds provide a reliable defense. A financial account's value is entirely relative to your personal timeline and need for immediate liquidity. As the market landscape rapidly shifts around us, you must find a new strategic direction for your assets. Inaction, leaving excess cash in a low-interest checking account while rates fall, guarantees that your wealth will slowly erode. Examine your cash reserves now and segment them into buckets based on when they will be needed. True financial safety is the result of deploying your capital so it remains available when you need it, with its full purchasing power intact.